Hello and a warm welcome to Personal Finance. I'm Gugulethu, Cele. Now today I'm joined in studio by Palesa Lengolo, who is a financial educator from Palengo Holdings. Now that's to tell us a little bit more about the trends as well as the key themes we often find when educating members of the informal sector about ways to access the market. Palesa, good to have you with us today and thank you so much for coming through. I want to gauge your views on the timing of the year. We are at the end of 2015 and November and December is well known in the informal circles where people get their bonuses and stock files will get their cash payouts and go up and beef up their grocery shopping lists. But isn't this the opportune time for them maybe to find alternatives for their money, especially like gaining access to the markets? But when you educate them about these themes, what are some of the challenges you come across?
Thank you so much for having me, Gugu. It is definitely the perfect time to be talking about what you should be doing with your bonuses instead of spending it all on food. The challenges that we have around this time, everyone wants to splurge and buy all the unnecessary stuff. It would be time where you can actually try to access the market at this time because you actually have a cash flow that you're going to be getting from bonuses and the 13th checks and all that stuff. So now, saying to people, now don't go splurge and invest your money is quite hard, especially at this time of the year.
Exactly. Walk us through some of the themes though, because a lot of the times people want to access the market and they know or maybe aren't too aware of exchange traded funds or unit trusts or other ways for them to initiate investments, especially in the equity space. But cost implications and maybe a lack of understanding in those markets are often some of the two reasons why they decide to hold back on those investments.
I found that a lot of people don't have a lot of information. They don't know where to start. They've heard of the market, they know of shares, but they don't really know who to go to, how to go to it. So in order to access, I would say the first step would be through things like ETFs, which are exchange traded funds. There is like an index that tracks the top 40 shares. So basically when you're buying an ETF, you are buying a group of shares in one basket. And you don't need a lot of knowledge to be able to purchase such products. You just have to have a commitment that is not expensive either. So it's like 300 Rand per month to start ETFs, and people need to educate themselves with such things because investment is a way of building your own wealth in a way. And it's not expensive at all. As I've said, it's low cost. 300 Rand per month is get an ETF, you're already in the market.
Unless you have a fetish for shoes and spend that money there, but that's what we're trying to change initially. You mentioned also a lack of understanding as to where to go. I know that some people are aware of financial advisors but are worried about the costs, implications. Wouldn't your bank maybe be an ideal place to start, given the fact that a lot of banking institutions actually offer these ETFs or even unit trust investments as well and share portfolios?
Yes. It would definitely be the first place to start in your bank because that's your direct access to your money. But what we found that with people don't ask the right questions when they get to the bank. They are going for the normal stuff that they're always going to go deposit, withdraw money. Nobody's asking, what if I want to grow my money? Where can I go? Wherever. The bank will always give you the right information if you ask the right questions though. So the only way I would say, be curious about your money, ask the right questions when you get to the banks.
What are the right questions we should be asking?
You should be asking, I want to invest my money. I don't want my money to just sit in the savings account. I want to be in the market. Who can I go to? And follow up and be interested in your own personal finances. I mean, it is your responsibility at the end of the day.
We also know that tax-free savings accounts were also recently launched by the South African Treasury, and some people are still nervous about gaining access to that. But isn't that another way of ensuring that you put some money away, boost your savings, and even use the tax-free saving account itself as a means of getting into the market?
It is definitely the best way of also saving costs. A lot of financial institutions, if not all, have already introduced this great product that the government has given us. You're going to be saving on the returns. Your returns will not be taxed. That is, they are available on all the things. But as I said again, you need to ask, can I have a tax-free savings account? Can you change my savings account to a tax-free savings account? Get the information. It is all out there. Get it and you will be saving a lot of money. Imagine not being taxed on a whole 30,000. So.
Exactly. I want to take it back to the greater theme that we started off with, which was stokvels. And for individuals like you and I and many others who might be watching at home today, we come from a background where it's almost part of our culture that come the end of the year, you go out there, you get the groceries or the money from the stokvel is raised for whatever means and reasons it will be used for. But most of the time it's for consumables. As young individuals and young people in South Africa, aren't there creative ways in which we should also be looking at boosting our exposure to the market, leveraging on investment opportunities, and also saving for retirement as well?
Stokvels are such, I love stokvels personally because I grew up around stokvels. Everyone that you know, almost the third person is in a stokvel. And even the younger generation is attracted in stokvels in a way. It's just that now you have to do it cleverly. You can't be putting money away to be going to buy groceries all the time. So if we can just improve it a bit, instead of going to go buy food or soaps and all that stuff that stokvels normally go buy, if we can just take that money and invest it, we can be generating a lot of money also for other generations, because stokvels are such a generational thing. So if you invest, you start your stokvel and you say, I'm going to invest the money that we make out of the stokvel, the people, your children, will benefit from that. So if we can modernize it a bit and invest the stokvel money and buy your groceries as your monthly expenses. I like the word you use, modernizing it a bit, which sometimes can be confusing for a lot of the ladies we interact with when it comes to stokvels, and even gentlemen who participate. But another challenge that we often find with stokvels is a key focus as well on burial or funeral costs and those kind of implications, which are all good and well because you're preparing for something which is going to happen. But don't we oftentimes over-invest in those particular products? We definitely do. Look, stokvels are a good thing. They are still the best way of saving in South Africa. So what we are saying, to get more value out of the stokvel, is actually make money out of it. You can have your funeral, masingcwabane and all that stuff, but you can also have money that you know this money is actually working for me. And this is what I'm going to get out of it. And you've got shares in companies because of your stokvel. And stokvel is also encouraging each other in a stokvel, a way of saving and having a better future without all the strain being on you, because you are putting so much capital together. So if you are alone, you wouldn't be able to do it. So in a stokvel, you actually can do it easier because you are generating so much money out of it, because there's a number of you guys.
On that though, how important does it become as well to select the appropriate individuals to start the stokvel or investment club with? Because fundamentally when we're dealing with money, we need trust too, huh?
Definitely. Definitely, you need people you trust. You need a people that you have a relationship with. You need people that you know. So stokvel starts with the relationship first. Then, because we all know you don't want somebody running away with your money and they keep on saying they're going to invest it. You want people that you trust, and you need to engage with the people that you're going to be involved in your finances with. If you're speaking to financial advisors, go as 2 or 3 of you guys, report back to your stokvels, be involved, but definitely it needs people that you trust, because we know with money a lot of things have happened.
And in your experience, because you obviously engage with the Stokvel Society of South Africa too, you also engage with large financial institutions in South Africa, is there perhaps a miscommunication or a gap in how these two industries approach each other? Because oftentimes stokvels feel like, bank is the banks will eat my money and it will disappear, and the banks are still trying to understand what it is that stokvel members are looking for.
I know a lot of banks are trying to reach out to the stokvels, but I know with the stokvels that I work with already, they're pulling away, as in, no, what's the point of putting it there, because I don't see anything, I'd rather go put it here. So there's definitely that still a lot of gap in between. We need, stokvels needs to be educated more in what to do with their money. They need institutions that trustworthy, that can show them what to do with their money. A lot of companies are trying to come into the party and educate them, but it's not enough. There's a gap. Not everybody's got TV and internet accesses, especially when it comes to stock files and the locations and whatever, they actually need people to come tell them. And even though when you go tell them, they still question you. So there's a lot of trust and information missing in between there. So if we can fill in that gap, if we can get something to make them trust that your money is fine, it's
so
secure.
True. The level of financial institution involvement as well as trust going forward. Something else I wanted to explore on is, as you mentioned, we're talking more about these stock files that might be based in peri-urban areas or urban areas, but what about those which are out in the rural areas where people sometimes invest to purchase livestock? You know, is there again a lack of misunderstanding or lack of understanding and mistrust between these individuals and financial institutions?
There definitely is, because when it comes to the rural stock files also, they also don't have the mediums in terms of accessing the information. So they go on with their business and what they've been doing for years, and it's hard to change them because it's almost like a tradition to them now. This is how, so you coming and saying, no, stop this now, do it like this. You actually have institutions actually needs to come and say, I'm not saying you must stop this, but if you would do it this way, you'd see more value out of it. And in the rural areas, there's a lot of schemes that people can come up with. So there's also a bit of trust there too. So if well-known institutions would actually go and educate there and say, look, you guys know us, we wouldn't eat your money. This is what we are offering in the table, to adjust it to make it more of value out of you and to come out. And in rural areas, they really need a bit of financial education because they are trying.
Well, let's get a quick recap now on the takeaways from our discussion with Palesa this evening. Palesa, we've certainly touched on a lot of different elements, merging the formal and informal market space, encouraging young people as well to go home and educate to Auntie Rose about access to the markets. But in your view, what should we be taking away from tonight's discussion?
What you should be taking away from this discussion is definitely, it's like if you've got an aunt, you've got Auntie Rose, you've got anybody, and you know they're always putting money somewhere so that they put it away so that they can spend it in December, please say, instead of spending that money, can you please invest it? And show them it's our responsibility as young people to educate our elders that their money needs to grow for them to live comfortably later in their elderly life, because we are tired of being broke and we are tired of being supported. You helping your elder is also helping you for them not to be dependent on you. So them investing money will have money to look after them later on and not yourself.
And that will break the trends and chains we see of the sandwich generation, right? Where individuals who are a lot younger have to maintain those in the elder generation and even their children too. But Palesa, thank you so much for your time today and for giving us some insights into your experience when it comes to educating those in the informal market about formal access to financial institutions. But that's where we leave it for Personal Finance this evening. A big thank you once more to Palesa Lengolo, who is a financial educator with Palengo Holdings. Do remember that we want to hear from you, so get in touch. You can tweet any of your comments and suggestions to @CNBC Africa using the hashtag Finance410 or to myself @Gugulethu on Twitter. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.